us rugby men talk about the muchiness of the change room, I literally sat there like just crying my eyes out because I was like, it's done. And I think when you do realize that, I think the emotion that runs over you is overwhelming.
Now, I'm just interested in that decision to retire. From your point of view, how long did it take you to come to that realisation of when that end date was going to be?
I think it's the worst decision any professional athlete has to make, Lee McKenzie. It's sort of taken me a year of trying to get back onto the pitch from an injury that, having a career that was never really, blooded with injuries, to sort of struggle in the last year, and then, literally sitting down one day, I'll never forget, at my house in Toulon, and I was like, how much longer do you try, knowing that the end is there, knowing that, your best days are definitely are behind you, and there's not much going forward. And I'd had a sort of young family. My wife was pregnant with our second. She was giving birth in like 2 months' time, and I literally, us rugby men talk about the muchiness of the change room. I literally sat there like just crying my eyes out because I was like, it's done. And I think when you do realize that, I think the emotion that runs over you is overwhelming. And for some, there's not many Richie McCaws that end, captaining his country to the second World Cup. Not many Johnny Wilkinsons, getting God Save the Queen played at Stade de France, by Toulon winning the top 14. Those cases are very few and far between. And for the greater percentage of professional athletes, it's a tough decision.
I suppose, not that I retired or anything, but before I had my hip operation, I was at peace with like retiring if things didn't go well, and it was a rotten time. So and that was me having a shot in the dark, Brian. So I had a 50-50 chance, I suppose. And you're saying you completely ended, but I was in a hole. So I was, even with that decision, knowing that okay, there's a chance here I could get back, but there's also a chance I'm finishing, and I did not want it to end. So I'm thankful it didn't end. But I feel like lads who've gone before me and close friends of mine who've retired out of the game, they've really struggled as well. Have you struggled at all since you've retired in terms of in any way?
I am very fortunate, and like I said, I think there's a very few percentage that are lucky enough in the transition. I think one of the biggest things for me, and it probably resonates with a lot of people, is that you while you in your professional sport, your identity is that, and all is around that identity in sports. And I think where a lot of athletes really get it wrong is that they don't understand that their professional sport is a big part of their life, but that it shouldn't be their life. Where I think for me, for a lot of the times, I understood that, it is a big part of my life, but it is not my life. And I tried to the best of my ability to come to peace with that. It is difficult because you do get swept up in, all the fame and the fun times and the easy living. And it is difficult. I think, you go from earning the salary of a CEO to literally starting at rock bottom. And then you want to try and maintain a lifestyle. And there's all these financial decisions. We all make mistakes. I don't think I've ever met one professional athlete that hasn't made a bad financial investment or, some of the sort. And like I said, I have been fortunate. It still isn't easy though, from a training perspective, all of a sudden training is a daily part of your job. Now all of a sudden you got to fit it in pre going to work or pre the school run. And corporate, I tell everyone, while I was playing, everyone wanted to talk to me. Now I'm in corporate and trying to do B2B sales, and no one wants to talk to me. When you're in corporate, you realize, how amazing it is being a professional athlete, getting paid, a good load of money to do something you absolutely love, which sometimes we tend to forget.
You've been watching The House of Rugby Season 3 on Joe.